Folks, Charles75 in here, and in this episode what we're going to do is we're going to get that sanding sealer on the top and the sides of that guitar so we can go ahead and firm up that fabric and get it trimmed off and have it ready to receive its back fabric. So let's go take a look. Alright, so we've got our top fabric here on the horns, and what we're going to do is we're going to put our sanding sealer on it so we can go ahead and firm that up and get it locked down. And then once it's all dry, and we've got it close on it, it's all dry, then we can go ahead and fold down, we can trim it and then fold down the top fabric so that we can have a seam here that we really can't see. So that's the object here. So let's get some sanding sealer on it. That's interesting. And we're just going to put, thin base coat here. Start firming it up. We'll come back in about, we'll come back in about a half an hour and do another coat. And the idea is to get all the fabric, especially even the fabric that's not glued, coated with this, because we want these edges to be nice and firm so that they go ahead and that they cut nice and clean when we trim them, so you won't be able to tell that there's a seam there. And that's really all done now when you take the time to make sure that you get them nice and firm. But we're going to go ahead and get that coat on here and make sure that we're firming them all up. And that's it for now. Alright, so we've got our guitar with our fabric all glued down. Now we're going to go ahead and start getting our sealing sealer onto it so we can firm up that fabric, so we can trim it, so we can, and then apply the fabric to the bottom. And so we're just going to go ahead and get a good coat down here. Putting on this light coat is really just going to go ahead and firm up our fabric so that we can go ahead and trim it. But it's also going to kind of give us our base coat and firm up that fabric and give us a good base to where we can sand down easily and then begin applying our 2K clear. Excuse me, cannot talk today. So let me go ahead and get that down, and of course we're going to want to go around our sides as well. Get those firmed up. And we're going to come around the bottom too with it, because this is where we're going to end up trimming. And so we need to make sure that where we're trimming is going to be nice and firm, so that we don't get all these the little danglies, right? We have our guitar all fabric dropped with the top and the sides. We've put our seam sealer. Now we're ready to trim away the excess so we can go ahead and put the fabric down on the back. And so what we're going to do is we're going to follow the body line, and we're going to let the body actually be our guide, and we're slowly going to just go ahead and go through. And that should give us a nice straight line as long as we take our time. There are going to be a couple places where we're going to have to trim. Like here, I've got a little bit extra, but that's going to be fine. Alright, so we got that. Alright, so it gets really hard to do all this trimming and really pay attention, but what I'm trying to do is follow that body line and get as clean a cut as possible. And there's some places here where the sanding sealer didn't harden everything up, and so there are some rough cuts here. But let's go ahead and speed it up, and you can see where we're trying to follow that body line as best we can. We do have a couple jagged cuts here and there, but we're going to go ahead and straighten that out with sanding. So now we're over on the top here, and we're cutting off that extra fabric that's on the top so that we can get the horns revealed. And so what we had done was we trimmed that fabric we put on the inside of the horns, and now we're trimming that fabric that's on top of the horns in order to get it and make it a nice seam that you don't really see here. And so now let's go ahead and cut out our that other part of the inner side of the horn and move on to our neck cavity. And you can see where this takes, it's a lot of really fine work, and you have to really pay attention. And we're doing some extra trimming over there on that side, on that horn. And it's really hard to get this straight down cut here to really work out really well and be so clean that you can't see it. But here's what our top looks like. And now we finished doing all the fine trimming on our guitar here, and you can see it's nice and smooth all the way around. And you can see that we've done a really nice job here. And so now we are ready to go ahead, and we're ready to go ahead and glue down the back panel. All right, folks, so there we have it. Our top and side fabrics have been sanding sealed, the extra fabric has been trimmed off, and now our guitar is ready to receive its back fabric. So on our next episode, we'll glue down that back fabric, we'll sanding seal it, we'll trim it, and then we'll get it ready for clear. So until next time, enjoy your guitar journey, and thank you for being part of mine.